snacks.
Ladies and gentlemen, what it do, my snackers and my snackettes. This is Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. I think that's a good time. Let's go ahead. Gage. Sin is in his building.
Yes, sir.
Jokes is in his building. And today, we have some interesting topics today. Because we are dealing with unprecedented times for sure. And that is kind of changing the way I think that people are entertaining themselves and finding ways to be entertained as a group. You know, Zoom calls and Netflix party and, you know, that kind of stuff, right? So, last week, they dropped a new trailer for Tenet. Have you seen it?
Saw part of it. I actually was at work when they dropped that joke, and I failed, and I've gone back and finished watching that joke yet. Because they dropped it. It was like, wasn't it like?
Like, it's weird, like being home, like the usual way I go about my day is all thrown off now. Like, I didn't realize Memorial Day that I was off. I forgot completely about it. I woke up, was normal thing, went to sleep early to go to work, sat down on the computer, one like, why ain't nobody? There's no texts, no emails coming. Like, oh man, it's Memorial Day. I'm off.
A lie.
Yeah, just went back and sat down. Like, I'm just so thrown off. Yeah. So no, I didn't catch that one.
Woo. Okay. Well, let me start by saying the first trailer was dope. This joint looks insane, and the second trailer doesn't really answer any questions for you, which I kind of like.
I like that
because as a fan of Christopher Nolan's work, except for the Batman joints.
Oh, don't do that.
This is what I need. What happened?
I was like, don't do that. Don't do that now.
Just don't pick that fight now. Is what you're saying?
Oh yes, because you're gonna create a whole other war again, man.
I'm trying. Listen to me.
Say, let's go back to that fight another day.
All right, hold on. Here's where I'm gonna leave this. Okay. If you want to know how I feel about the Batman trilogy that Christopher Nolan did, there is a video on our channel. It's an unpopular opinion, I know.
Most certainly.
But go there, you can pretty much get the gist of how I feel. The only thing I don't really say there is this. If you look at Christopher Nolan's entire body of work, the Batman trilogy are his worst three films. The Prestige, Inception, Memento, run it down.
Okay.
The Batman trilogy of his movies, they're the worst ones. Let's leave it at that. So listen, Tenet trailer leaves that same kind of like, I ain't really sure what's going on, like Inception kind of thing, okay? But here's what's special about this trailer and it debuting last week. It debuted in Fortnite. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I'm sorry. I know. I had to laugh because my man Ellis was like, this man is back to talk about Batman again. What is happening?
Listen, man. Ellis, look, bruh. You're just going to have to accept them facts as facts, bruh. Look. So, the Tenet trailer drops in Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's on YouTube and all that other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Too, right? But, and normally I wouldn't, we have a separate show for talking about video games, but we're not really talking about Fortnite, the video game. This is about Fortnite, the social experiment. Full concert, Travis Scott concert in Fortnite, right? Trailer debuts in Fortnite. They are actually planning to do a full viewing of a Christopher Nolan film in Fortnite. They have not said which one yet. More than likely, it's going to be a Batman film. But
stop it.
But that was for giggles. But I heard someone talking about this and heard a suggestion, really the question of why something like VR isn't being used for more stuff like this. And I obviously understand the reach
Mm.
that Fortnite had compared to something like VR. And I don't know if there's another platform where we could do this. I mean, you certainly could create a new pack of DLC for The Sims
Mm-hmm.
and make it a drive-in theater
Type of thing.
and have, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or an actual movie theater and have it so people's characters could go, or something like that. But in terms of something social, I don't know that there's anything that even comes close to this. And I feel like Tenet, as a trailer to do this, is probably a very weak option compared to what you could really do if you were targeting the actual, like, the children that play Fortnite. Like, you might get away with this in Animal Crossing now because it's the
True.
biggest thing. Like, man, it ain't quite Fortnite, but it's up there. Um, it's like one of the fastest selling games in history. What do y'all think? Are there things you would like to see premiere this way?
Uh, it'd be interesting. I don't think there's nothing particular that I would say to go, like, say through a Fortnite or maybe something along the lines of it. Like, I definitely think as far as getting it to possibly an audience, maybe whether wasn't initially interested or just didn't necessarily care, I think this is a great way to do it. But just like you said, with certain things, you may have to be a little bit careful. We know there's a bunch of kids playing Fortnite, but at the same time, there are grown men and women that are also playing Fortnite. So it's definitely a good place to put it. But I'm sure, obviously, inside of Fortnite, a lot of things it's censored. It's just like when they did Travis Scott's concert. They had the censored version of all of his music and everything that was going, but it was an experience. Like, I watched it after the fact, but it was
Right.
definitely a unique type of thing. Somebody else just said, the Skywalker the activation in Fortnite was pretty solid when they did that in there with the
Yeah.
Millennium Falcon and doing all that type of stuff. I just think that just creates great partnerships that you can start having all those co-brandings every single place. It's kind of like how they do with Marvel. Like, maybe after Black Widow finally releases, maybe they do some type of, hey, we're going to give you this extra Black Widow scene that unfortunately didn't make it to the cutting room floor, but you're going to get it inside of Fortnite. Plus, we're going to hit you with these Black Widow extra costumes and all that type stuff.
You know, so did either of you guys watch uh the like gallery thing they have on Disney Plus where they kind of dig into like the behind the scenes stuff with the Mandalorian?
No, I didn't get to watch it yet.
Okay. I'm gonna highly suggest that you do that. But you may or may not be aware that the Mandalorian was not shot using green screen.
Yes.
They used Unreal Engine. Big LED. They use those LED. They use LED screens, right? And the backgrounds and backdrops were all done in Unreal Engine. LED screen over top
dope.
for real time lighting. Yeah. So because instead of now having to shoot something and then wait till it's in post, like you can see in real time, this is what it's gonna look like.
Look like on there.
Because they can do it right then and there, move things around, change things, change lighting, change time of day, change all kinds of things, right? And get real-time reflections because they have a screen basically that's overhead.
Mm-hmm.
So Unreal, being a video game engine, is literally changing the way even movies are shot. I'm bringing this up because Epic, who owns Fortnite, owns Unreal Engine.
Right.
And so I could see partnerships where you're using Unreal Engine to shoot your movie. Well, we're going to debut your trailers in the thing that has the most outreach to the most people on the most platform across the globe. Right? So as more movies, TV shows, films, whatever, are using the engine that is made by the people who own Fortnite, maybe then we start to see more of that kind of stuff happen. And it would not surprise me if then there are partnerships with Disney, Marvel, whatever, to do something in there, like we've seen Deadpool and Avengers stuff and stuff like that. Um, that's one of those things I'm telling you now. There's no turning back. When they shoot the next stuff from Mandalorian, when they shoot new, unless they decide we're actually going directly to a location, that's how they're going to do it. They're going to do it using that engine. That like it just Favreau's like behind it 100%.
I don't need like my premieres in the video games like that much. That doesn't do anything for me. But I do really like the partnerships they're doing with them. I love the whole Travis Scott thing. I thought that was dope and amazing, especially for Fortnite people sit there and experience the whole thing. I think seeing that done made me think of a lot of artists that could get into this kind of space, especially right now, the way things are. You know what I mean? Like, this would be a really solid move for them. And I do like the partnerships that Fortnite has been doing with Star Wars and with Marvel and all that kind of stuff. And I would love to see that grow bigger within this industry. I would love.
I'm with you 100%. I mean, let me ask you this. What would they have to announce is going to premiere for the first time in Fortnite to make you turn on Fortnite? Because I don't turn it on. I have it. I don't turn it on.
I don't know. Actually, I take that back. I take that.
They said the new Fast and the Furious trailer was going to debut in Fortnite. Center, you turning on Fortnite?
Yes.
It's only going to be there, yes. But once it goes off, it's going to be on YouTube. Like, I can just turn on YouTube and see it. So I still wouldn't need to boot it up to see it.
But chances like if they do that though, they may start
at. They said it's gonna be in Fortnite. They'll debut for a week. And then a week later you can watch it on YouTube.
I'll be in Fortnite.
A week and you boot it up.
No, I boot it up.
You boot it up.
Yeah, I was about to say you may get Dom's character, get Dom's skin or something in there, and you be running around in Fortnite as Dom.
You ain't gonna play. You ain't gonna play.
You're not gonna run around as Dom, man.
I brought around 2 seconds, get shot, cut it off. Like that's it, just to see what it looks like. That's it.
Big world mode. What about you? What they got to debut some Gundam? What they got?
Hey, I was getting ready to say like I wasn't say Gundam, but you know what? Probably they said like Power Rangers or some type of thing, and I can run around as being a ranger. I probably will suit up and put on Fortnite and play it for a little bit. As much as I'm probably gonna go in.
They got to be giving you a skin to play with. You're not just going like
if they say give me a Ranger skin.
Power Rangers,
oh no, if they say
Power Rangers trailer is debuting in Fortnite, you're not booting up for that. But if they say new trailer is debuting and you get a Green Ranger skin, then you're
I'm gonna boot it up both ways. Either way, I'm gonna be in there getting my ass handed to me probably by some little kids playing Fortnite. I'm cool with it. I have no problem at all. While I'm sitting in here watching this Power Rangers trailer and possibly running around as the Green Ranger.
Also be aware it's not just Fortnite, it's any big multiplayer game that has traction like Warzone, for instance, or whatever.
And that's true too. Like Warzone,
Warzone, Apex, I can see those big
Warzone's
ones like that.
A lot of
something like that.
Think about maybe go to the gulag and there's a trailer playing in there while you fighting somebody.
Possibly.
I don't know if they got the same. I mean, look, I think there are different audiences that you could, you know what I mean? But here's the thing about that. There was a time when people were upset if you put advertising in their game.
That is true. That is definitely facts.
You know what I mean? And again, we'll talk game stuff tomorrow.
Right.
We got a powerful show lined up tomorrow, y'all, so make sure y'all tuned in for that. There's going to be some things going on there. So I don't want to dig too deep into games or whatever, but just games have become such a social thing now that I feel like they're taking over the site. I mean, there's all kinds of new stuff premiering and new shows to watch and, whatever, but some of those new shows are Gary Whitta having a talk show in Animal Crossing with Danny Trejo acting as a special correspondent now. You know what I mean? And like everybody is crazy. I'm not real big on. I mean, the Tenet trailer was cool, but I didn't watch it in Fortnite, and I don't think I might not turn on Fortnite to watch a new Spider-Man trailer. Like, now if they said it was a Spider-Man skin, in there.
So they got you.
But I don't know if I would do it for a trailer. Like, it would have to be like, yeah, you're going to have to wait a week to see this anywhere else.
Booting up that
They
Fortnite.
might have.
And you're going to wait for that 20 gigabyte update or whatever they got because you haven't booted it up in so long.
Of course.
Real talk. Because it'd be terrible. Now, I keep my joints up to date, though. Keep them up to date. Even if I don't play them, they up to date. That's you with the terrible updates you got to wait for.
Nah, I got my updates.
Hey, curveball.
Uh-oh.
What would be a power? Imagine for a second that you could turn invisible.
Okay.
And be invisible for as long as you want.
Okay.
But once you go back from being invisible to being visible, your nose bleeds for 1 full minute for every hour you were invisible. Like profusely.
Ooh.
Would it be worth it?
I would say yes, but God, I'm gonna be teetered on the verge of probably dying at that point.
Well, it depends on how long you stay invisible.
That's facts, but it will probably be
It'd
worth
be
it.
worth it.
Be worth it.
Is invisibility the best power?
One.
I mean, you can. I guess being invisible, then you can mimic certain other abilities like you have them, but
You know what I find interesting? Here's one of my favorite things about Spawn was that his power was finite. Like, I like the fact that he used guns. He had power and he had all types of power, but there was a limit to it. Like when he used it, he had a timer. Like it ran down. Like it could run out. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think I've ever come across any other hero, villain, vigilante, whatever that had something like that. You know what I'm saying? If you had a power, but there was a limit to it, like you knew, like technically for him when it ran out, he's going to hell. Like that's just like you went back to hell and it's a wrap. That's a little bit much. I don't know if I want to know what you would have to have access to, but like what would be a power that you feel like if there was a limit to it, like how would you decide when and where you know what I'm saying? So like let's say it was invisibility. But you only had a certain amount of it. What would be the occasions for which you would you be a villain if you had invisibility?
I
feel like you'd be a villain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you Sam.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Jokes?
I'd be a villain.
You'll be a villain.
Oh, J. Robert Dean said, invisibility is really only valuable to young men and boys. You know what I mean.
That's not true. There are young women who want to see things they shouldn't see. Drill holes in the locker room wall. But if you feel like that's not a valuable power, I'd love to hear what you do feel like is a valuable ability. Yeah, like the idea of having a power and it being able to run out, I just find really interesting. Not in the same way like Batman can run out of whatever's in his utility belt, or Spider-Man can run out of web fluid. But like,
run out, like
if he could actually run out of wall crawling, we in trouble.
Ooh, that's a problem.
Now my question is, does it recharge after a while? Or when you run out of it, you just run out of it. That's it. You don't get it no more. You're out of it.
Yeah,
that's
like
just
Spawns couldn't recharge. Like it was just like when it's done.
That's it.
It's done.
Okay, no, I just asked because like that's something that's more there in the anime perspective. How they have chakra when they run out of it, they can't do it no more. They gotta wait and rest up and stuff like that, or key stuff like that.
And charge back up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost more like a martial arts thing to begin with. Like you just gotta kind of recharge. You know what I mean? It's an RPG thing. Like you can use it, you can't spam it, kind of thing. Let's say you can spam it, but when it's gone,
that's just it.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. So like if you were Flash and you could run fast enough, long enough to go back in time, but you might mess around and run out and not be able to get back.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't that make you second guess?
Oh, it would.
Because you already second guess some stuff, but wouldn't that make you second guess
Yeah.
With a little bit, depending on where I
some
get
of the
stuck
things that
at.
you might do?
Hmm.
I mean, I just feel like, are there any other examples of something like that? Like, I don't. Spawn is really the only thing I can think of.
That I had to find that.
Nobody's coming to the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure Rob in a minute will start running off characters any minute now.
Well, here's the thing: if you had invisibility jokes
Mm-hmm.
when you got done, your nose bled profusely for 1 minute for every hour you were invisible.
Mm-hmm.
What would be
Yeah,
worth
Rob
it?
did.
Uh, that kind of is what happened. Matter of fact, Rob
Yeah, that's what I
to
said.
Thawne in season one. That pretty much is what happened.
Yeah, exactly what happened.
Um,
He said, "Isn't that what happened to Thawne in Flash season one? Ran back in time, ran out of Speed Force, couldn't get back."
Couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Couldn't
but
do it.
yeah, but like just like I said, I'll be a villain. I'm probably gonna like rob a bank or something. I'm sorry.
Mm.
I'm gonna
And then just bleed all over the money.
stack a little bit of paper, and then afterwards, like if I can get a stack, maybe a few million. The only problem comes after when they start trying to come for me for taxes, and maybe my dumbass probably try to buy like a $1 million house. Well, sir, you're not quite in that tax bracket right now where you're going to be paying
Yeah.
for this. So I have to make some smaller purchases, but probably to stack a little bit of money and then maybe do some, I don't know, do something fun. I don't know. I'll run and do I don't know, give somebody a wedgie and then call it a day. I don't know. Something stupid.
that's what you would do.
No,
Wedgie
just
somebody.
something stupid. I would do what I need to do. Yeah, no, the IRS
Okay.
wouldn't necessarily go after bank robbers, but then I may slip up and buy something else, maybe that I shouldn't be buying at that point with all that money. but
Um,
but then no, doing something
you
stupid.
sure don't sound like a villain.
But yeah,
I
I would.
mean,
Yeah, I'd be able to take some whatever, but then I would do something stupid afterwards. Something stupid that's just like that I would get a good laugh about. Then I would just lose the ability afterwards.
Sin, I know you'd be a villain, but would it be worth it if your nose bled? You wouldn't care. You just let your nose bleed. What would be the so? What would you say would be the maximum amount of time you'd be willing to allow your nose to bleed once you got done? Like, are we talking like 3 minutes straight, 5 minutes straight? You go all day invisible and you just gotta let your nose bleed for 24 minutes straight.
No, probably 10 minutes. Probably the longest I would go.
All right, what if it was migraine? You're a migraine guy. What if it was migraine?
I think.
All day. I'm a champ
Oh,
with it.
I was about to say this dude's saying.
I'm a veteran
But if
with
you
it.
but you hate them, so
Yeah, I hate him, but
But
I know
he'll
how
put
to,
up with
I
it.
know how to ride that dragon.
what would be? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what would be worth going invisible for if you knew that you was gonna have to deal with it? You're like, whatever, man. A 24-minute migraine ain't that big a deal. Not at all. Are there some powers that are just more automatically villainous?
I don't know, like, because you can pretty much a lot of superpowers double. I mean, that's kind of how they got villains in most of like some of the comic books. Like,
I wouldn't say some powers are automatically just villainous.
yeah,
I think it all depends on the wielder.
yeah, because the thing is, like, the Flash,
So
like,
you guys are the problem.
yeah, we're the problem.
Like, certainly invisibility doesn't mean you have to.
Nah, you don't have to. No, you don't
Yeah.
have to use
Most of
it.
y'all are
Yeah.
like, well, nah,
You
I
could
just-
you could definitely use it for good, but I think every ability can be used either way. I don't necessarily think you can necessarily categorize unless your ability is just like instant death or something like that. I don't know. Then you probably that probably would be a villainy. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. So I'm just gonna tell you now, um, unless the guest we have lined up for next week comes through for weekly, we are going to revisit this Fantastic Four.
Oh.
What about how to fix them?
I will be. Hmm.
What about how to fix them? Or to throw them away and never
Yeah,
bring them
that might be the fix.
back? Okay. Okay.
That's not. we'll that's gonna be up for discussion next go round. Hey, I want to take a quick minute to acknowledge um, Slade and the crew over at Uncanny Nerd for having me on their show yesterday. We talked games for about an hour and a half, and it was delightful. So if you are not familiar, go follow Uncanny Nerd. They, you know, kind of jump topics from week to week. They do a different topic. Um, they got a wrestling show that's coming up. Jokes you intend to get.
I definitely intend to be a part of that.
Good. I want to talk about wrestling for a moment. We haven't had a Wrestle Wednesday from you in some time. We do have LS Wrestling Chat. So for those of you who are wrestling fans, you want to know what's happening and be in the know about what's going on in wrestling, the Loading Snacks Wrestling Chat is a place to be. Jump in there and Jokes will let you in. But I want to talk about wrestling because they are still wrestling with no crowds.
They are.
And for whatever reason, this needs to be working.
Mm-hmm.
What happened this weekend?
So this past weekend we had AEW Double or Nothing. So
It was like their WrestleMania. I'm not mistaken.
I guess you could consider now Double or Nothing. I don't think they've branded, but that would be their biggest one. I guess they've done so far.
Okay. They fought throughout the entire stadium.
So yes. So one specific match, the main event of the night, was pretty much the Elite versus the Inner Circle.
Okay.
This match took place in the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium in Florida. And there was a ring. So think of a WrestleMania type setup, the ring in the middle of a football stadium. But pretty much there was no limit on where they could go with this fight. At first when I heard it, it was like, I don't know. But after sitting and watching it, it was a very good piece of entertainment. And like,
how many people were in this fight?
so
This was just two wrestlers?
No. These were two teams.
Okay.
It was 10.
I was gonna say I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
It was what?
It was 10. So it was 5-on-5.
Okay.
5-on-5.
Okay. Okay.
Gang.
So pretty much like there was things going on simultaneously in different areas. But it looks like part of it was kind of the pre-recorded, and so they could edit, make things look the way that they truly wanted to. But I give them props; it looked fantastic the way that they did it. But so they started out on the football field, so it kind of went off like a football game in certain areas. So there was like the kickoff. So the two teams pretty much started like on the opposite ends of the field, and then pretty much ran into each other and started to fight around.
Like Civil War,
like Civil War. Good example. That is the perfect. That is literally the perfect example. That is what they did. So at that point, the fight ensued just kind of around the ring. So just really typical things. A few of them got in the ring. Typical stuff. Then it started going a little bit extra. They started kind of going to the sidelines, using some of the side gear that was out there. So, first down markers, different things like that. Then, of course, went to the next level, start going up through.
So this was no holds barred? Like, this was like...
It pretty much was no hold barred. Weapons being used, everything was good to go.
How many reps are we talking? How are we eliminating people?
So it wasn't elimination. It wasn't elimination. But what happened was there were multiple refs. So depending on how they kind of split up, those refs could follow certain individuals as they went certain places.
So somebody had to get pinned?
Oh, yeah. Somebody had to get pinned. Pinned or submitted. It went either way.
Just one.
Just one.
One out of the 5.
Just one out of the 5.
Everybody's fighting at the same time.
Yep, everybody's fighting at the same time. So, went all over the place. Interesting thing I found out, and I've never seen this before in a football stadium, but Jacksonville Jaguars have a swimming pool, on their club level, like on the club that you can access, swim it. Go figure. So, fights, people getting thrown in the water. Matt Hardy, I don't know if how the whole broken gimmick, he actually has like a new vessel that takes over his body. So Matt Hardy died. Like he drowned. Another vessel took him over, and then he came back. It could Matt Hardy. I love Matt Hardy's character.
Hey, listen. I'm not. All right, look.
It's
All
interesting.
right, look. That's cool and all. Who won?
The Elite. So Kenny Omega pinned Sammy Guevara at the end of it. Big leap from it was like from the club level down to the next level. So it was a pretty one of those high up. He did the one winged angel. So it was a pretty decent drop. Landed in the nice little setup. So everybody was still okay. But the funniest moment, well, I would say, well, one of the funniest moments, the previous week on Dynamite that was on TV, Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega actually ran over Sammy Guevara in a golf cart. They had a no holds barred match during AEW, so they wanted to bring that moment back. So, but this time, of course, they're on the football field. So Sammy Guevara is pretty much running the whole length of the football field, trying to avoid getting run over by the golf cart. He actually managed to avoid it this time. It was pretty funny.
You know what? Is wrestling better right now than it was before?
It's interesting. I give them props because they have to do something different with the fact of not being able to rely on having all the extra, having the fans cheer, do the boos. Like there has to be something. Like they do have like their superstars that align around the ring who kind of substitute to do cheers and things like that, which honestly to me it works pretty well. WWE just literally copied AEW because AEW was doing this and WWE hadn't followed suit. Last night on Raw, WWE decided to have the NXT superstars ringside to become the audience for the show. The only difference they did was for social distancing, they had like plexiglass all the way around the outskirts of like the barriers that would separate the ramp in the ring from the audience. So they had that whole entire barrier up, and then everyone behind was kind of 6 feet from each other, trying to keep distance. But I mean, you're wrestling at this point.
When's
what is
the last
it really?
time somebody went through the Spanish announcement table?
Through a Spanish announce table? Not as of recently, because there is no Spanish announce table. There's only one commentating table.
It's not good anymore.
So it hasn't happened.
Right? Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, look, what he's saying sounds like it might be interesting and like a one-time thing to look at the whole stadium thing and the way they're cutting the footage. But I need my crowd and my Spanish announcement table.
Don't get me wrong. Like the crowd is an essential piece, and like I would be happy when we do get to that point where we can start to have the crowds back. It just gives you just a whole different experience to have, having the cheers, having the pops, somebody returns. I can't wait for that moment, but I have to give props to the companies right now for doing this differently, and it's working. It's working.
Realistically, when do you think that happened?
I would say, here's the thing, because of the way things are going in Florida, it wouldn't surprise me if we see it relatively soon. Maybe in a smaller increment in the beginning. So maybe the Performance Center for WWE typically doesn't allow fans per se in there unless you're going on like a tour or something like that. So maybe they do something special where they'll maybe have a pool where certain fans, after they've been screened and things, where maybe they will decide to bring them in and do certain things. But it wouldn't surprise me sooner, just because of Florida being honestly almost really wide open at this point, because that's how they're able to do a lot of the things with the Performance Center. Tony Khan and the family that owns Jacksonville Jaguars being able to do everything in Florida. So I would say, maybe in the next few months, it really wouldn't surprise me. But I think they really will take it slow, just see how things go. Maybe September. AEW's next pay-per-view is in September, so it wouldn't surprise me if maybe that would be the platform they would try to do to maybe try to plan or do a little bit of thing about it. NXT, of course, it's in a smaller venue when they have it at Full Sail. So for WWE, that maybe between Full Sail and the Performance Center will be maybe those test areas where maybe they'll try to unleash and do it at for it.
Full Sail
University.
University.
Yes. So NXT comes from Full Sail, and that's pretty much where they're able to put it on. So much smaller audience, smaller auditorium. So I think they can manage that a little bit easier than trying to say, hey, let's go to the Capital One Arena and try to control 20,000 worth of people, which is not going to be happening anytime soon.
This is what happened. Hey, listen. I haven't heard Sin talk in a while, and I have some to discuss.
So now we've come to it. Sure. The curveballs have got me prepared to expect the unexpected. So
here's what I need to know, Sin.
Okay.
What is the worst Fast and Furious film?
Ooh.
For me, it's probably, I think it's either 2 or 7.
Is Tokyo Drift the most important film in the franchise?
Most important?
Why are you making that face, Jokes?
You know I love Tokyo Drift. I love Tokyo Drift.
No, it's not the most important one in the franchise.
What is the most important film in the franchise? Is it the first one?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna say the 4th one.
The Jokes, is Tokyo Drift your favorite?
I would say it's my favorite, just for the fact of
Bow Wow.
Absolutely not, Gage. No, absolutely not. No. But it was like kind of where Sin was going with. Too Fast wasn't. It was interesting, but it wasn't my favorite. But I felt Tokyo Drift gave Fast and Furious new life. So before they thought about, bringing back the original cast and doing the continuations, it was interesting to see them, use something new and kind of go back to the street racing, bringing something new with the drifting style. I loved it. It hit me, like, I guess spoiler alert, I mean, it's only been out for forever, but I'll still put it out there, but when Han died, I was like, yo, this dude was awesome and really didn't get the light that he really deserved coming from it. But, I mean, now with him being back, I mean, I know me and Sin have had this conversation numerous times, like, okay, how, why, what did he do? But
gotta wait till next year to find out.
But definitely, I will say that Tokyo Drift to me was a piece of the puzzle that made it more important, just because of the fact at the end of it, having Vin Diesel show up as a cameo in this showed there was still life in the original cast, and there was a possibility that it was going to happen. Like, they hadn't had I don't think those conversations at the time, but seeing him show up, talk about that he used to race with Han. Han was into American Muscle before he came over here to Tokyo. It was real cool to see how they still tied it into the original that came out, but still it was it gave it this new life to it. So I just want to see how they still try to work with the cast, because most of that cast still hasn't gotten too much light. I know with Sean, he appeared in 4 just to talk about Han, to give the Dom's chain back to him. But they didn't necessarily get, that extra light in these newer movies. So I know Sean is supposed to possibly show up and become a bigger role, but I don't know.
We don't need it. Sean's good where he is.
Where does this franchise fall in
I didn't hear that. Say it again. Where
does the franchise itself fall in the grand scheme of movie franchise? Where does Fast and Furious sit compared to Harry Potter, MCU, Star Wars?
Type of thing.
Let's say anything that has more than 4 entries.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that includes Police Academy. Hey, listen, Police Academy, them joints are vicious, bruh. Hey, I know you don't know nothing about that jokes.
I've seen a
But
couple.
listen,
No, I've seen the first couple. That's about
you
it.
seen Citizens on Patrol?
I've not seen Citizens on
Fail.
Patrol.
Shit.
You need to see that.
I ain't seen that joint since I
Hey,
was little. Good lord.
hey, look, man. Yeah, where does this joint fall?
It's in the
Where's
top
Fast and
five.
Furious in it?
Top
Huh?
five.
It's in the top five.
Top five.
All right, give me those five.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
I give the Harry Potter universe. I give Star Wars. I give Fast and Furious. I'm not. This is no specific order. Just Fast and Furious
Gotcha.
franchise. And the fifth one, maybe Lord of the Rings franchise. Maybe, but I'm not sold on that particular one.
Nah, I don't. I don't think top five. No, not top five. I mean, don't get me wrong.
What? All right, hold on. Jokes, you're saying not top five.
Not top five.
Give me five. Give me five.
All right. So you kind of Harry Potter, Star Wars. Um, let's say. Let's see what else we got out there. MCU movies. Uh, no, I'm not include that.
So far, they're all the same shit. I just want you to know he hasn't named anything you didn't already name.
Right. I'm trying to. We're saying like at least like four. Mission Impossible. I know someone. I will definitely agree with the Mission Impossibles being there. Shoot, James Bond for that matter. I will throw James Bond into that list.
Okay.
I would.
Well, that's five.
Yeah. So that's stuff.
Does that make Fast and the Furious a solid number 6 in your book?
I think
What's the chat saying? What's the chat saying?
Chat right now. Talking. So we got Ellis was top 5 question mark. Marcus was like top 10, and then Ellis was just like better than Mission Impossible. Question mark! Exclamation mark! Whoa!
Hold on!
Whoa!
Hold on!
Whoa! No, I'm calling veto on that. Rob was like Jason Bourne. You know what? The Bourne franchise will definitely go. Bourne would definitely go above Fast right now. I definitely would say that. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. If Fast would have stuck to truly what Fast originally was, like the street racing and all that, I probably would feel a little bit different. But then it started to try to become this more of action, adventure, whatever you want to call it.
And it worked for him.
No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
You know what you left out? You left out the Step Up series. Them Jones vicious. Left them Jones out.
I think I'm only seeing one.
Nah.
Them Jones vicious. And basically, Fast and the Furious is the Step Up. They the Step Up jump for cars.
Kind of thing. But
that's what happened. They left the street jump.
So disrespectful.
Street racing.
Oh, Rob actually made a good one. You know what?
Though.
Rob made a good one.
Hey, the Step Up joints be about family.
Family.
They about family.
But no, Rob made a good. Oh, yo, okay, we getting good now. Rob was like Star Trek. I would definitely put that on there.
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Is Fast and the Furious above Star Trek, Sin?
No.
Yes, to me.
No.
But that's just my preference. Just me.
Cool. Marcus was like the Oceans franchise. I particularly like the Oceans movies, so.
I do too, but are they more than 4 of those?
Yeah. So Oceans was
the girls at the 4.
Oceans 11, 12, 13. The female Ocean. So we're at 4. I believe they're working on the 5th, but at least it's 4 of those right now.
Well, I said more than 4.
Yeah.
Get it out of here. I like them though. Get it out of here though. We talking about the big boys. You ain't big boys if you ain't got more than 4. You know what I'm saying? Harry Potter, here's the thing. Harry Potter almost doesn't count. And I'm only saying that because being that it's based on the books. It's kind of like, obviously the movies had to be successful for them to keep making movies. But essentially, though, there's a movie for every book. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's a little bit different. Like, Fast and the Furious is a movie franchise that is born out of a movie franchise. Star Wars.
That's one of the things I always say to people. It's not something based off of comics or anything like that. It was just its own thing that Hollywood came up with and just blew up into a big thing.
Oh, Rob threw another one in there too.
A comic.
No, Rob.
Rob was like Transformers. Well, he got like the laughing emojis
Yeesh.
next
No.
to him as well
All
too.
right. Yeah, man. Hey, look, for real, I enjoy the Transformers movie.
I'm the same way too.
However, them joints not. They not on. I mean, they're
No.
on some lists, but they're not on any good lists. Like
No.
them joints,
Yeah.
they're not on any good lists. Like you know, um, I do like them joints though. Uh, yeah. Look, Fast. I'm a firm believer in. I'm that person who's like, it kills me that we didn't get a second Gone in 60 Seconds. Gone in 60 Seconds was a way better movie than the first Fast and the Furious. Easy. And they basically came out at the same time. We're competing with each other. Like, they're like back to back, you know. But I enjoyed Gone in 60 Seconds
Mm-hmm.
more than Fast and the Furious, for sure. However, I think to your point, Jokes, when I don't think they could just keep doing street racing. I just feel like it would have got boring, right? So they had to
Switch and go a little bit
things.
something. No, I get it.
And somehow they've been allowed to go so over the top.
A little
Like
extra.
you just
A little extra.
Yeah, like again, for all intents and purposes, Fast and the Furious movies are superhero movies. They're comic book movies. They're doing stuff that's so stupid, it's stupid. You know what I'm saying? But it's just kind of like, at this point, that's what you go in. That's what you're going
into
for.
now. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's you're not really going for the. It's almost like those. It's basically like they went from having movies that were about street racing, more or less, to movies that were about making the high speed chase the whole movie. Like that's like the high speed chase you get in a Bourne movie, which they got some dope Italian job.
Oh, by the way, we're gonna.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna throw a couple more out there too.
Take that. What's that?
Nah, I'm gonna throw a couple more out there. We got I was talking about Ip Man franchise. Ip Man got a solid. How many was that? 4 or 5 of those now?
There's 4.
4. So you don't count that.
4. Ip Man 4 just came out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but remember they got that the spinoff one or whatever. Master Z.
So we
like
have that. Marcus said
right,
Friday the 13th. I like the Fridays, but
all right. Friday the 13th. I mean, horror joints. Friday the 13th and
Friday.
anything Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's like 13,
Hellraiser.
15.
Them joints, yeah. I mean,
Friday 13th was cool, and then when Jason X came out, like that was the one that just like it kind of.
Yeah, Jason versus Freddy, that's Fluke. But people wanted to see it.
They did, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. People wanted to see it, but I don't know, man. Like,
ooh, there's a good one. Die Hard.
Hey, listen, John McClane is a superhero, I guess, right? If you put him in that, he's Batman, right? Like you put John McClane in a Batman outfit and just call him a superhero because he's doing stuff. When he be vicious if he had Batman's money?
Hey,
John McClane would be on the Justice League.
McClane would have fallen out of my man. McClane would have just jumped out of Nakatomi Plaza with Hans, and then the cape came out. And he'd have just glided the whole rest of the way down with him.
Oh yeah, that whole joint from the Nolan joint where he came out the joint and slid through the glass in the building in Japan. Yeah, nah. My man did that joint in Die Hard in a Japanese name building way before Nolan put that joint in the film. Them joints weak. Anyway, on facts, we can do this all day. Yeah, look.
Probably not for this conversation. Keep it strictly
the horror movies. You don't feel like they fit in the same.
No, he was asking he was thinking about animated movies. I said probably not for this particular conversation. Keep it strictly to you know,
Yeah,
real
I wouldn't
movies for
count
some
animated
reason.
movies in there because then you got to put in like Land Before Time because it's like a
Oh
thousand of
God,
them.
this is
Yeah,
they were still
yeah.
coming out like I think when the first one came out, I was in like elementary school, and then they were still coming out like by the time I graduated.
I don't think you was
Hey,
grown when the first one came
Ella
out.
Was
said,
I?
"Look at this." Hey, Ella said, "Look at this man bringing Batman back up."
Oh yeah, any chance I get now, just because I know you in there. Any chance I get.
Oh man. Oh man. Whew.
Ooh
For the
wee.
win. For the
Oh, we got
win.
Rocky thrown. We got Rocky thrown in the mix.
Rocky.
Um.
Are the
So
Rocky is the Rocky franchise better than Fast and the Furious?
Nope.
now I haven't seen all the Rockies, so that one I'm not too sure.
Including if you include the Creeds,
I have not seen
both
the Creed
Creeds,
yet. I do gotta sit and watch the Creeds.
them Jones clean.
Mhm.
Hey, for real,
Okay.
all sports movies are pretty much solid. I don't know if I've ever seen a bad sports movie for real.
Now you know what? Since they said Rocky, now do we throw Rambo? Anything
You know what?
Rambo?
I mean, yeah,
Rambo's been pretty
Aliens.
solid. Aliens has been
Aliens.
pretty
Alien.
Yep,
solid.
that's a good one.
Then Predator.
You don't consider Aliens along like the horror franchise?
Uh, weirdly enough, yes and no. Only because my introduction to Aliens was the second one, which is one of my favorite movies because that was pretty much an action, movie.
Right.
Yeah,
Sci-fi action.
yeah. So that was my introduction to it. I didn't start with the first one where it was more so horror based.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if we might have to actually have a straight up like let's pick franchises and put them in an
Put them
order.
in order.
we got
Yo,
a tier list.
I can dig. I can
We
dig
got another
that.
tier list we got to do.
I can dig that.
We might have to
Okay,
really really seriously look at this and
that's cool.
state some cases because I feel like this is I will tell you that if I had to do it, Fast and the Furious wouldn't be in the top 5. But I think I don't know. Some of them is just like you just give them a certain level of respect. Like I don't really care about the Friday the 13th
Mm-hmm.
movies like that, but they're such a phenomenon. You know what I mean? Like they're such a big. Like if they announce one right now,
There's a good one.
people are gonna do it.
Ellis bought the Jack Ryans. That's a pretty solid.
I mean, yeah. I mean, along the lines of like Born.
Mm-hmm.
Them Born joints are clean. Like if I had to choose between sitting down and watching one of them,
Mm-hmm.
like any one of those movies out of the franchise versus any one of the movies, say from Fast and Furious, I would pick Born before I, you know what I mean, before I watch Fast and Furious. But like
That was the opposite.
the thing about Fast and Furious is that I respect the spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
I think my problem with it is that I don't feel like they respect the spectacle. Like I don't feel like they. I mean, it's like they lean into it, but I feel like they don't. I feel like they take themselves more seriously than they should. Like, like none of this stuff is even really close to being real. Like there was a time when it was like, it felt grounded. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they got so far away from that it's like, all right, well then, let's just call it a comedy,
Shoot,
or whatever it
put
is.
it out.
Like,
Let's just do it now.
yeah, there's just something about like they talk about it like, oh, it's all about family and it's
Family.
whatever. But like, I don't really feel like that's what it's about. I feel like it's about spectacle. Like those movies get made and people go to see those movies because of the spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really go for the story. They're not really going, you know what I mean? Like they go because there's some additional person they added to the cast. I'm not saying it's Tyrese. I'm just saying, you add The Rock, you add Jason Statham, you add, you know what I mean? Like it didn't start out with like, now you're really kind of pulling from people with real star power.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To kind of, and it's again, it's about the spectacle. Like what's happening in a Fast and the Furious movie shouldn't be like what's happening in a G.I. Joe movie, but it is, and that's dumb to me.
Yeah, and next thing now,
You know
at this point,
like,
yeah.
there's an issue.
At this point now, it's like we waiting. What bigger thing are we gonna do? We done blown up the plane. We didn't have the submarine come up out the ice, and we didn't destroy the submarine or do whatnot ever. So we didn't cars out the building to the next
Flying
building.
out of buildings, I mean, out of planes with parachutes on the back of the
I
joint.
mean, space is.
Like these
I feel like space is next. Like I feel like that's where.
Hey, listen, if they go there,
It's a
bye.
wrap.
We never
It's
talk
a
about it.
wrap.
I'll put them past it, but I doubt they hit. I doubt they hit space.
Dog, think
Yeah, I don't think they
Dom
can.
gonna take his car up there and have like rocket boosters on that joint now.
And we will love every
Forget the
minute of
knives. He gonna have rocket boosters on there.
it. And we will love every
I'll be
minute of
so
it.
upset. I'll be so upset. It doesn't help that I don't like Vin Diesel. Let's keep that real.
Oh, and then Floyd
Oh,
hit
I know
something.
that.
John Cena's Dom's brother now, so it's like, I mean, John Cena's probably one of the biggest acquisitions that you could do right now.
I mean, it's just like I
Not
feel
gonna
like
lie though,
there's
I do
certain
want to see
things
Dom
that,
and
like
Cena
where
rap.
the franchise itself couldn't rely on the franchise. It had to rely on outside things, outside spectacle to pull. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they not a good time. It's just something about the respect level that's kind of like, man, listen, you're trying to make this seem like it's something that bothers me. You don't even really need there to be a story. Just be like, hey, we about to get in some cars and do something crazy. I would love that. It's like
What's the last Fast and Furious you
Jackass the
seen?
movie, but for cars. Huh?
What's the last Fast and Furious you seen?
What was the last one that came out?
Fast 8.
So
Or
whatever
Fate of the
one was
Furious,
before that.
whatever you
I
want to
didn't
call
see
it.
Fast 8.
Oh, it's Fate. Okay,
I didn't
okay,
see I didn't see 8.
okay. But you
again,
saw. Okay.
it doesn't help that I don't like Vin Diesel.
Oh, hold up,
Like
hold up.
Vin Diesel,
I gotta throw one in the mix about this. So Ellis wants us to bring up Toy Story because he wants to know what you gonna say out there, Gage. Falling
about Toy Story.
in that list of the franchises.
I mean, there's 4 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It doesn't count. I said 4 or more.
Yeah.
I said more than 4.
More than 4.
Mhm.
Yeah, I said more than 4.
One
So
for the one,
Toy
one for
Story
the long
doesn't count.
stretch.
Yeah, Toy Story doesn't count.
At least
I
not
wouldn't.
yet.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, if they do a 5, we'll talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you think that all Pixar movies are actually all in the same universe and they one
Hey,
joint, then
the
we might have
Pixar
something to talk
universe
about
may
there.
have something going on here now.
There are definitely some things pointing
Hey,
in that direction.
Alice was like they got spinoffs. So
The Toy Story movies have spinoffs.
yeah, I guess like the Halloween special. They did
It's not a movie.
They did a couple of
They
them specials.
come out in the theater. It doesn't count. That's one in the theater.
It's not a movie.
For what we're talking about. Yeah.
Man, it sounded like Ellis trying to defend Batman. Stop it.
Oh.
Listen, hold it. Yanking him out the air. Just, I got some in my utility belt for that. They got Halloween specials. Get out of here, man. Yeah, I think we've talked about this before. I think Vin Diesel's best movie in his entire arsenal is The Iron Giant. And I don't know if that's arguable. But I'll wait.
Still never seen Iron Giant.
You haven't seen The Iron Giant?
Nope.
Well, basically, he does the same thing in Iron Giant as he does in both Guardians movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Figure.
does, he does less of it because he don't say much. But I still think that as far as what his name is attached to, I think Iron Giant is his best film.
Okay. I haven't seen this, so I
I
can't say
think-
nothing about it.
Pitch Black's okay.
I was gonna say
It's a rough watch. I actually watched that the other day. That joint is not. It doesn't hold up.
Doesn't
real
hold
well.
up.
Chronicles of Riddick is cool, but the old game holds up better than the movie does.
That's bad. The game was better. That's bad.
But the game was fire. On the original X-Men, that joint was fire. Outside of that, the fast joints, hold tight, Saving Private Ryan.
I was about to say, okay.
That might actually be.
I'm not
The
saying
best
I'm
movie.
going to be his best work, but I was like,
Saving Private Ryan, although he got killed in that joint. That's
I
not why I
like it
like
so
it.
much.
I just really, I do like. I mean, that's a great movie.
Rob said American Pie.
They do got like 40 of them damn things.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
No, there's a ridiculous amount of them.
Hey, look, it's all. They may not came to the theater. They must have went straight to video or something. But
Like
I've seen
the
them all in
first,
flesh.
yeah, like the
It's a
first
bunch
three,
of
like
them.
the first three, I think were like the original cast. Then it was like a couple of them came out where there was a whole. They were playing the original characters, but it was like prequel. Or
If
I don't
Jason
remember.
Biggs wasn't in it, it don't count. I ain't with it.
And then
But I
afterwards
mean,
they went back.
if they got more than 5 movies,
Oh no, there's more than 5. There's definitely
Yeah.
more than
theatrical
5.
releases,
Yeah,
did they have more than 5 with theatrical releases?
No,
They
I'm gonna
got
say
five,
no.
five
no,
movies?
no.
You know what?
I'm
The first 3.
in the theater for sure.
One of them, there was another one. I don't remember the name of it, but down the road they did. I don't know if it was a reunion or a family. It's at least 4. I think there's at least 4 that was released in theaters.
American Pie, American Pie 2, American Pie Band Camp, American Pie Beta House, American Pie The Book of Love,
Those were all straight to
American
DVD.
Pie
No,
The
those are
Naked
all
Mile,
those are all straight to DVD. They were all straight to DVD.
American Reunion,
American Reunion, I think is the one.
American Wedding.
Reunion and Wedding. Reunion and
was
Wedding
in
are
the
the 2. Yeah, those are the 2 that were in the theaters. So in that case, there's
So that's 5 in
they
the
got
theater.
5. They got 5.
Yeah, but out of all the franchises we named, that's the weakest joint.
No argument there.
Hey, it count.
I
Hey,
put
good job,
Police
Rob.
Academy-
It counted though.
Nah, yeah, it counts. It's in there. They got 5 theatrical releases. I'm cool with that. But yeah, Police Academy. Because if we get into comedy, Police Academy smashed that joint.
Rob said also, you know
That
what?
joint.
Rob said Lethal Weapon, but you know, Lethal Weapon only has 4. That 5th one has been on the horizon for like years now, and probably at this point is not going to be coming out.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, there was.
Mel
They almost made the
crazy.
cut, but I don't think that 5th one's coming no time
They
soon.
had the show. I think that's what happened to that last movie. Is
Yeah.
They made it a show, and they were hoping that the show would do well enough that they could then go
Catapult
back
it.
into movies. Yeah, that's not a thing. I don't think that's a thing. We're not Scream. There are 5
Ooh.
screams.
Yeah, no, 4.
Yeah.
4.
4 screens?
They're talking about the
Hold up.
5th one is coming out. Actually, David
Yeah.
Arquette confirmed the 5th one. I guess
Yeah.
he posted
They
something
Just recently.
yeah, but it's only
So
4.
they
of them.
will.
Mm-mm.
But as of now,
I
They,
give
they don't count. They don't count right now.
nope.
it's out of it. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's some bad joints, man. It's probably like 4 or 5. It's probably 5 Leprechauns.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta feel there's more.
Uh,
I feel there's more than that.
Chucky's was there?
No, I think.
Child Play.
Yeah, I think there was. I think there's more 4 of them.
At this point now, with the newest one,
Yeah.
if you include,
Yeah, yeah.
So there's 1 and 2, Bride of Chucky. There was the
Seed
remake.
of Chucky.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, them Jones weak too, though. Why are we talking about them? Them Jones weak. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't even count. Like, I wouldn't even consider the Spider-Man movies franchise because they don't have more than 3 that are part of that same continuity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't. There's 3, and then there's 2, and then there are 2 more,
Right.
but they're not
It's not
the
all
same joint. I don't. Yeah, they don't count.
Rob said Saw. Now that's
a strong franchise there.
I can go with I can go with Saw.
And that new joint, what was the joint? What is it? Jigsaw? What's the name of the new one they just?
Um,
I forget
they
the
just
name
showed
of
the
the
trailer
new
for that's coming
the
out,
one with Chris Rock
Yeah,
and
tell you in a
Yeah,
second.
Chris Rock. That joint looks like it's gonna be dope.
when it got pushed back. I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
I would say that those count.
Damn, we should have been
Yeah,
writing
we
these
would have
down.
to
Like
really,
we're gonna have to go back and look.
we would have to really work that list.
Spiral.
Hmm?
That's the Spiral is the Saw
Spiral.
spin-off joint with Chris Rock.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that joint could be a problem.
I think we
get
remake the list. We keep it the blockbuster, like blockbuster, quote unquote, movie
type
franchises,
thing.
stuff like that.
Now and then Floyd just threw in a couple, but The Ring and Paranormal Activity. I don't like. I think there's
All the,
enough.
it's not. It's not.
yeah, it's
It's
not
not
that many.
five movies.
No, it's not that many rings. There are paranormal activities, but all of them go to the theater.
No, I think maybe
Yes, I know there's
Yeah,
a bunch of those.
only the
I
first
think
two.
three, maybe four, and the Wayans brothers joints don't count. Like them joints don't count at all. Yeah, man. I mean, I think there's probably something that's like we just not thinking about somehow
Mm-hmm.
that we're missing. I would still say, especially considering all of what we named, I wouldn't put Fast and Furious in the top five.
I 100% agree with that.
But you're right; they might be top 10. They might be top 10. They might be in.
No, Rob. No. Rob said Twilight.
Rob, kick him in the chat. And thank
Listen,
God there was only
is
four of
Twilight?
them. Thank God there was
Is
only
it?
four of them.
Hold on. Is it three? And then the last joint was two
Split into
parts.
two. Yeah. Was it New Moon that was split
Is it
into?
five,
It technically is
Oh
five.
crap!
or was it?
It's
No, it's
Was it
technically
four
five
because
because the last movie you're right was a part one and part two
Twilight.
thing.
Twilight.
it was
New
split
Moon.
into two?
Yeah. So it's five.
I don't
Hey,
think
listen.
that
Let me
counts
tell you
though.
what. Okay. So if the last movie is split into two parts, you don't think that counts?
I don't think that counts. It's the same movie.
Mm,
They just did that for dollars or whatever else in the theaters. It's
but
not like a new story.
it's technically another
All
movie
right.
though.
Hold on. On that note, Infinity War and Endgame, is that one movie?
I was thinking about that. No, it would be two.
That's
It-
one movie, Sin?
Wait, no.
That would be
That's
two.
I'm thinking how originally it was supposed to be like a part one,
It
part
was.
two thing, and then they did, yeah.
But then they
So no,
separated.
that's two
No.
separate movies. Two separate movies.
So what are you saying is if the movie contains the same name, are you considering it to be one?
Like Deathly Hollows Part One and Two.
Part two.
That's one movie.
Either way, that still keeps it at 7. So
Yeah, it does.
that would still
Yeah.
make the list
Yeah.
either way.
Yeah.
But under that circumstance, you're saying it's only 6 films.
Technically, yeah.
Rob said 2 movies. Actually, Rob, which one are you saying 2 movies to? Let me ask you that.
I think he's saying that if you take one joint, you split it into 2 separate ones, and you have 2 separate full theater going experiences from it, that they count as 2.
And then while we,
Because I mean, like,
yeah.
because that's almost like saying that Jurassic Park 1 and 2, because they technically come from the same story, are not 2 different movies.
No, that's what when they specifically labeled it Part One and Part Two. That's specifically what I'm talking about. When you're making that distinction that this is going to continue in the next movie, then it's just the same movie continued. Like it like technically hasn't stopped yet. You know what I mean?
One we got thrown
So,
in.
hold
Hold
on.
on.
No.
So Karate Kid 1 and 2. Literally 2 picks up exactly where the first movie ends.
Mhm.
Is that 2 movies?
That's the movies. They don't call it Part One and Part Two. That's just Karate Kid 1 and Karate Kid 2.
I just think the easiest way to say it is if it doesn't have part 1 or part
It's
2
the part.
labeled,
It's the part thing. Yeah.
then
does.
it should be labeled its own individual movie.
That's all it
If
is.
they're
It's just,
saying, what you're saying is, if they're basically saying, y'all don't have the patience to sit through this whole thing, we need to break this up for y'all, then it counts as one film.
yes. When they put that Part One,
gets
Part
one
Two, whatever. Yes.
The only
Which is
other,
technically only important in terms of being able to determine whether or not something qualifies for this list.
Yeah. Which most stuff I think still does make it that we talked about.
It's going to qualify anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
one
What you
other
gonna
one.
say, Joe?
One other one because my man Marcus is yelling this. Like he didn't say it twice, and now he didn't put it in all caps with exclamation
caps?
marks on it. Medea.
No. All right. We finished that.
Nah,
On to
no.
the next.
I mean, listen. So look, there's a lot of people who love them joints.
But then there's a parallel
But,
opposite.
I
but
hate all of them joints. Cause then we gotta add in like all the Ernest joints. Ernest goes to camp.
Oh
Ernest goes to
God.
jail.
see, that's why I was
Oh,
saying let's
we
keep it
gotta
to the
do all the
strictly
Ernest
like
joints, bro.
blockbuster franchises and go
And
from
them
there.
joints. No, them joints better than the Medea joints. And the Medea joints are blockbusters.
Ellis
I mean,
said,
if they
Them
are,
joints
they
make
finna last
crazy
too.
bread.
this dude
They
Ellis
make
said,
crazy bread.
each time he says Medea, baby turtle dies.
Hey, dog. Don't say it anymore.
Oh,
Hey,
that's
look, man.
good.
I hate them joints, but that's really all them joints are. They just Ernest films. They the
rest,
continuation of the Ernest joint.
rest in peace to Ernest.
Ernest Scared Stupid, man.
Ernest goes to
Them
camp,
joints.
all them joints.
Them joints. Hey, they was fire, bro.
We probably
Jokes
watching
has
now, they
no
be
idea.
trash. I know. We probably watching now, they be trash.
He had no. Oh, that garbage, bro. They're
I never feel they
garbage.
watching them. No.
They would be so good right
Oh
now.
yeah,
They garbage.
yes.
I wouldn't even try to make my youngest watch them.
Nah. Keep that one to
Yeah,
us.
they're filled with late '90s. Oh no, it's
No.
only 4 Home Alone. Okay.
It's technically no. There's
Count it.
is there? I think there's more than 4.
Theatrical?
No, they're most certainly not theatrical.
Okay.
But they're, in a sense, there are more than 4. If I'm
Nah,
not
dog. As far as I'm concerned, it's only 4, and really, there's only 3. But we do have to have this discussion. Like,
This is a whole. Yeah.
we can't do it next week, but we might do it the week after.
It's a panel
Can't
right
do it
here.
next week.
This is a pan. That's a
We got
panel.
some things popping
No,
up. And it might
it's
be.
a panel.
You
I'm
already
about to
know
go
we
look at
gonna
posters for all these franchises and give them one place so we can do the thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all now, just so y'all know, we did this whole putting the MCU in order, not like top 10 panel, which was bananas. So if you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. It's on our YouTube. But we are planning to do the same thing, but with the DC animated universe and putting those in order, choosing the top 10.
Yep.
Not
Oh,
the joints out.
I got one
That's gonna
more.
be dope.
I got one more
What's
franchise I gotta throw in here before we go away. Otherwise, my girl will probably kill me if I don't do this. But
All right.
Final Destination. We talked about the some of the other.
I mean, you right. Does she love those?
She loves them. Personally, I love the first 3. The first 2. Third one's a little weird. First 2.
Third joint's weak.
And then I think it's
That's
the
the second
Final
one.
Destination. And the Final Destination.
Once it turned into like the Final Destination was like an entity that was like trying to get you, that got dumb.
I like the
that's
final just because of how they as it ended up being the prequel. Once you finish watching it and realize it was actually a prequel to the original Final Destination, I think that's where it kind of liked it.
I'm gonna say you're pretending you like it so that your girlfriend doesn't.
No, I most certainly like definitely 100% the first couple solid. 2 is my favorite.
Okay.
2 is my
The
favorite.
first 2 were solid.
And then after
First 2
that,
was solid.
My favorite.
Did they make you scared of stuff? Like when you
No, yes,
Did you
no.
see things
2
like,
did,
you know
no.
what?
2 did. The logs on the back of the truck. I will
about to
never,
say,
I will
I'm
never
about to
drive
say, you
behind
can't
one
tell
of
the
those
people that we don't
ever
do that
again.
now. Whenever you see that,
I don't do that
just
ever
move
again.
over, get past it. I'm not
I'll
dealing
never
with
in
that.
my
Like,
life.
it got real. That's how you know it was good. That was good. Yeah, that's good stuff there. But I'm gonna tell you right now, that joint ain't in the top 10. We can just eliminate that joint now. We don't even need to discuss it the next time we go.
Yeah.
We won't even bring it up.
I don't need to download the movie poster for that one.
No,
Don't need to do that.
don't waste your JPEG bandwidth, sir.
Just remember to get all of them. That's the only thing once we get the list together.
Ah.
Not,
I'm sorry, but
Hey.
it's not my
Whatever,
fault. You
whatever,
left Black Panther off the
whatever.
MCU list. Like a lot of people in this chat gonna be mad at you. When we did that MCU chat, this guy forgot to put the picture of Black Panther in the list. Of all the MCU movies, he forgot Black Panther.
Why is it black?
he did. He did. It was
Ah, 'cause
so
it was-
bad.
It still was one of the best ones. What are you talking about?
Man,
Whatever.
he left it off. It was bad. My man had one job. One job. And then I was like, listen, hey, I should go through and just check them joints, make sure. My man said,
you ain't gotta check my homework.
You wanna check my work? You don't trust me? All right, man. It's cool.
I need more.
Apparently, you should have checked my work.
Somebody got up and was like, hey, Black Panther. My man was looking through the computer.
He was struggling. And I had leaned over. I was like, sir, you do realize they're all in.
I ever seen you sweat. Listen, I don't know if I ever seen you sweat instantaneously.
But the thing is, he was looking so hard. And then I was like, you do realize they're all in alphabetical order on here right now. So I don't know why you're skipping. You're skipping and looking everywhere else.
I'm hoping to just show up.
That joint like the third joint in the list, dog. It's Avengers, Black Panther, bro. Like them joints.
All the Avengers, Ant-Man, Black Panther.
Bruh.
Oh, that was a funny moment. That was a funny moment, though.
Sweat, yeah.
Oh.
All right, listen.
And it's all
we're gonna wrap this up. We went over, but we've been having a good time, so we just, you know.
Oh yeah.
Hey, look. We are revamping Patreon. We're gonna be making some changes to that, so you'll see that in like the next week or so. We're putting some final touches because this whole COVID thing has made us have to kind of change directions a little bit. So we're pivoting some.
Oh yeah.
But we have a lot of things in the works that we are trying to do from our individual homes. We're not to get together like we were before, but we're gonna make do. So look out for that. I'm assuming that most of you guys who are in the chat follow us across social media already, but if you're not, please do.
Share us with your friends.
Really appreciate all of you tuning in. Yeah. Feel free to share. Sharing is free. Feel free to share.
Best thing you can do.
Sharing is free. And listen, tomorrow night, we're going to have a discussion like this. Just some guys kind of chopping it up. We're going to be talking video games, and maybe, just maybe, Coop will be here. Who knows?
No.
Maybe. But I'm looking forward to talking about Minecraft Dungeons and Mortal Kombat Aftermath. I'm upset about having to do it, but I feel like they're getting ready to give me for that $40.
Get you.
I need RoboCop, bruh. I need RoboCop.
That's your boy. You can have him.
God, bro. Anyway, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, live. Cutscenes, chopping it up about video games. With that, we are out. What it do, snackers and snackettes? Did you like what you just saw? Would you like to help us grow? Here's what you can do. Shoot over to patreon.com/loading snacks. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform of choice. Appreciate you.